to Brookdale, Quality, Peterson, Hansford, Wilkins, or Arrow Pontiac.
10 o'clock may seem to be an unusual hour for this, but we have a traffic note for you tonight. Part of 35W northbound will remain closed for the next 2 hours while crews clean up after a semi-rollover. The truck overturned on the northbound lane near the Portland overpass just after 9 o'clock. Traffic in the area now down to 1 lane. One person was injured in the accident, but the severities of his injuries not exactly known at this time. Officials in Duluth now preparing to move that 28,000-ton freighter from Lake Superior. The Socrates ran aground on Monday night. And tomorrow, crews will first pump water from the ship's tanks to lighten it, and then 7 tugboats will be used to pull the vessel loose. And that brings us to this week's special assignment, the Guardians of the Deep.
Ever since the Walker family spy ring disclosed vital Navy secrets to the Soviets, the U.S. Navy has been very sensitive about letting anyone near America's nuclear subs. But recently, reporter Tom Garrison and photographer Dennis Baer became the first TV news crew allowed on a fast attack submarine. Even then, every shot had to be reviewed by a naval officer in order to censor top-secret material. Tonight, in the second part of our special assignment series, Guardians of the Deep, we'll show you what it's like on board the sub as we go beneath the Atlantic with the crew of the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul.
Norfolk, Virginia, headquarters of much of America's Atlantic fleet, and where submarines and civilians are concerned, security is tight. There are 2 basic types of submarines, missile subs, nicknamed boomers, and fast attack submarines like the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul. The job of a fast attack sub is to destroy enemy missile submarines before they can launch their nuclear warheads. The Minneapolis-St. Paul is capable of firing cruise missiles, but one of her main weapons remains the torpedo. A Mark 48 torpedo is said to have a speed when launched of close to 60 miles an hour, with its own sonar system to guide it to the target.
All right, make tube 1 ready in all respects.
Sierra 1, tube 1. Back sonar bearings and shoot.
Fire.
While this is an attack submarine, almost anyone here will tell you it's something they hope never to have to do. But if it does, their job is to be ready. Major responsibility falls to young officers and senior enlisted men, like Grant Hagedorn of Litchfield, Minnesota. He's responsible for making sure crucial electronic and computer systems work properly. Mistakes could mean no tomorrow.
Surface ship, you always have kind of a second chance. If worse comes to worse, you can always jump over the side with a life jacket. Here, a lot of times, if you make a mistake, there might not be that second chance.
On submarines, all of the men are a different breed, the cream of the crop as far as the Navy is concerned. They have to be that way because when a submarine leaves port, gone are many of the things we take for granted. Submerged for up to 80 days straight, there is, first of all, no real day or night. There is no place to be alone.
Privacy is virtually non-existent. Some people don't even have their own bunk and must share bunks on a rotational basis, and there's just not any privacy at all.
It's called hot racking. The bed is often still warm from one person when another sleeping shift begins in the same bed. And you don't want to have nightmares here because waking up with a shout could cause you to hit your head. Pat Condon of Albert Lee is in charge of meals and menus. He knows all about people not knowing what time it is.
For the rest of the crew that are on 6 hours, off 12 hours, on 6 hours, they come up to the mess techs and they say, "What meal is this? What time is it?"
Pat says lasagna and cheeseburgers are some of the crew's favorites, though the commanding officer likes quiche. The least favorite?
Braised liver and onions.
No matter what the job on board a submarine, total dedication is required. As you might expect, that total dedication places severe strains on families. And tomorrow night, a look at how submarine life can torpedo a marriage.
If there's any instability in your marriage, one deployment can ruin it.
Aboard the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul with photographer Denny Baer, Tom Garrison for the Eyewitness News Update.
Minnesota farmers arrived at the state capitol today to collect something of an IOU. Groundswell members say Governor Perpich promised to call for a statewide moratorium on farm disclosures by December 1st if no federal farm bill was passed. Perpich was not in his office at the time, so the farmers left petitions with 3,000 signatures supporting a moratorium.
And at 12 minutes after the hour, it is time for Money Minute. Greg Stone joins us with a report tonight on money market funds. Greg?
Thanks, Cindy. Here's how they work. Let's say a big bank or a big corporation or government agency needs some quick cash, as many of us often do. They turn to the so-called money markets to raise the funds. Now, if you or I tried to help them out, we'd have a hard time doing it alone. And here's why.
We'll try to explain how money markets work with this landscape model. Say each of these streams represents an individual investor. Each one alone has little cash and little power, not enough to enter the money markets. That's because the instruments the banks and big corporations sell to raise cash generally come in units of $100,000 or more. So the little streams can't come up with enough cash or enough power to turn the wheel. But just as little streams come together to form a mighty river, so too can small investors pool their resources to generate enough energy to turn the mill. It's that simple. The fund itself buys the instruments sold by the big banks or companies, which pay decent interest rates. So if you invest in the funds, then you too can share in the higher rates.
Right now, money market funds are paying over 7% interest, though that fluctuates over time. Back in 1981, when rates were sky high, they were paying over 17%. By the way, the model you saw in our report was made by Fred Soup and Bill Prowse from the Twin City Model Railroad Club. Our thanks to them. Cindy.
Hard to get into a money market if you're just an individual investor?
Not really. All you have to do is call up your broker and ask him for advice, ask him to recommend one, and some of them have minimum investments of, say, $1,000, though there are quite a few that you can get into for as little as $1.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Dennis Felkin, still tracking that hurricane in the Gulf Coast tonight, Bob, with the aid of a live News Star report, so we'll have that. Also, Debbie Enblum standing by live in St. Paul for a very special preview. Those stories will be coming up next.
And a bit later, Kevin Berger takes you live to the South for the Minnesotans' view of the new Civil War sequel.
This deposition ought to break the Foley case wide open.
The one in Washington?
Right.
I hope so.
When you have something urgent to send overnight, use Express Mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $10.75, about half what most others charge. And when you need it there tomorrow, we deliver.
I don't know how to thank you.
Don't thank me, thank this.
Express Mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
6 months ago, Vicki couldn't get herself out of bed. Now I can't get her off the ladder.
John Haney shares his family's experience with Share Healthcare.
A serious curvature of the spine meant over $35,000 worth of surgery and hospital care for Vicki. Our Share doctor recommended a specialist, and Share paid every cent of it. I wouldn't take any other health care, even if it was free. We'll stick with Share. I'm glad she's better. I don't like heights.
I love your new house. And your Aramis.
Thank you for the Aramis umbrella. It turned out to be the perfect housewarming gift.
Oh, I think it stopped raining.
Good. At last I can take you outside and show you the terrace.
The Aramis Executive Umbrella. Your gift with any $10 purchase of Aramis, Devon, Aramis 900, or JHL. Now at Dayton's.
Get ready. Galtier Plaza, downtown St. Paul's $100 million development opens to the public tomorrow, kicking off a 4-day celebration. Of course, we have to tell you that last-minute construction frenzy is going on right as we speak as workers ready the huge complex. And in the midst of all of this, it seems there's a semi-formal VIP reception taking place. So where's Debbie Enblum? Right in the midst of it, joining us to give us a preview of Galtier Plaza the day before it starts. Debbie?
Well, Cindy, this is really quite a party, and this is quite a place. You can see all the folks behind me. They're all over the building. Developers, investors, and supporters tonight are here at Galtier Plaza for a private kickoff celebration. And as you mentioned, tomorrow, a 4-day celebration of the grand opening day begins. And although it's freezing in here, the spirit is very warm among all these people who are hoping that Galtier Plaza will be to St. Paul what IDS and River Place are to Minneapolis.
Late this afternoon, construction workers surrounded Galtier Plaza on the city block bounded by 5th, 6th, Sibley, and Jackson Streets, wiring, installing, and putting windows in place. Inside, hundreds of workers on 4 floors scurried about the main court area, painting, plastering, drilling, literally finishing the building that is a miniature city in downtown St. Paul. Similar to River Place and built by the same developer, the project was created to rebuild the city's urban core.
We want to bring the people back. We want to bring them back downtown, bring them back to the urban center, give them a place to play and to live and to have fun and to shop.
It's hard to believe that in the next few days, people will be shopping in the fashion stores, going to movies at the 4-screen theater, restaurants, fast food places. Businesses are moving into office space. There are apartments and condos in the 46-story tower, the tallest building in St. Paul. There's now even a new YMCA attached. The residential towers won't be totally completed for a few months. For now, the goal is just to get the main area finished by noon tomorrow.
We're going to get it done
By tomorrow.
by tomorrow, 11:59.
Well, I wish them luck. Galtier Plaza has provided about 1,000 construction workers with quite a challenge. In fact, the whole project is quite a challenge. And I know that, of course, only time will tell whether the whole thing is a raving success. But I can tell you from a personal standpoint, since I am a St. Paul resident, that I will be very happy to test out the shops and the restaurants and the entertainment and everything that's here. Cindy?
You know, I think we're going to get a chance to do it tomorrow live at 5, Debbie, too.
I think so.
Write up a list of suggestions.
Say goodbye, you guys.
Goodbye. Tonight, another Thanksgiving thought from one of our Eyewitness News viewers, Lorraine Anderson of Minneapolis. She writes, "We thank you, God, for our faith, freedom, and liberty, for America, for food, for the ineffable beauty of the world around us, for our health, the goodness of people, and the love of dear ones, for peace and tranquility in a world of busyness. We thank you, God." If you'd like to share your thoughts on Thanksgiving, please send them in, 100 words or less, to KSTP TV News, 3415 University Avenue, St. Paul 55114. We'll be airing them through the Thanksgiving holidays.
Hey, here's a thought for you. What do you think of when you think of Seattle?
Fog, rain.
Rain. They must get a lot of rain out there. Take a look at this thing. They must have so much rain out there that they can can this stuff. That's 100% pure Washington rain. And I don't know if you can hear that through the microphone.
Loud rain,
yeah,
too.
There's
Sounds
loud
like a
rain
thunderstorm in there.
Well, let me tell you, the rains in Washington and the rest of the Northwest may very well turn into the snows in our neighborhood as early as tomorrow afternoon. There's 2 big storms on the map tonight. One is in the northwest, now moving across the mountains. It's what we call a cold core low. In other words, it gets its energy from cold air, and as it drives into the plains and swings northward tomorrow, it may mean some heavy snow around here somewhere. The other storm is Hurricane Kate. It's a warm core low getting its energy from warm air, and as it pushes towards the coast, there are lots of headaches tonight. In fact, we've been time-lapsing the National Weather Service radar from Apalachicola, Florida, and over the last couple of hours, look at the spiral bands of torrential rain move right up through Florida, and the winds and the real heavy rain are getting close to them. Here's the map of Kate for tonight. The storm right now about 175 miles south of the coastline, winds 115 miles per hour. Moving north right now, hurricane warnings are out from Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, eastward to St. Marks, Florida. There are hurricane watches out in parts of Louisiana and southward along the Florida coast to Cedar Key. Looks like the storm isn't through turning. And one of the storms that is directly in the path of Kate tonight is Panama City, Florida. Let's switch to our exclusive News Star Network and reporter Warren Ellie, who's right in Panama City. Warren, what's it like there right now?
Well, it's a very damp Panama City tonight, Dennis, and really we're bracing for the worst. You know, it was 9 o'clock tonight that Governor Bob Graham of Florida issued a mandatory evacuation order for the 12 panhandle counties here in Florida, and this 24-hour grocery store back behind me sure hasn't done much business tonight. Folks seem to be having problems taking this seriously. Now, evacuation centers are just opening here in Bay County. In all, some 60,000 people must be moved from their homes here, but there are worries tonight. There could be reluctance by some to seek shelter.
Okay, that seems to be the very latest going on in Panama City right now, and not only do they have high winds in the southeast, they got warm air. High temperatures in the eastern half of the country, 70s and 80s, a record 77 in New York and Baltimore and Norfolk, Virginia was 79. That wasn't us. Look at the cold chunk of Arctic air, which has shifted right into the midsection of the country. Our temperature is running as much as 20 degrees below normal. And the weather map for tonight shows we still have some real Arctic air around. It's enveloped the entire midsection of the country, gradually moving on to the east. But here's our storm, which is a brewing right now in the northern Rockies. Right now in the Twin Cities, we have temperature down to 12. It's cold, dew point 2, humidity 64%. Winds right now are northwest at 15, wind chill 16 below, pressure's rising, and it is partly cloudy in the almanac. The high today was only 19. Low so far has been 11, both of those well below normal with a trace of snow. Tomorrow's weather map shows we're going to start out with a little bit of sunshine early in the morning as the high moves on out, but quickly I think the clouds are going to roll in from the south and southwest. That is the low, kicks out of the Rockies and moves into the plains. It's going to have a band of snow with it, no doubt about it, and I think we're going to see that snow rolling into the Twin Cities sometime tomorrow afternoon. Some of it may be heavy by tomorrow night. The forecast for tonight in detail calls for partly cloudy skies with lows of 3 to 10 above and a west wind. And for tomorrow, increasing clouds, snow by late afternoon, highs of 22 to 28. And tomorrow night and Friday, windy, cold, it'll snow with some heavy snow as possible. Lows of 20 to 25, highs Friday 23 to 28. And looking ahead, snow on Saturday, and a cold sunshine expected for Sunday and Monday. 2 storms on the map. We get the snowy one.
Can of snow tomorrow, huh?
Oh, no. I think it would be like that by the time we got out here, wouldn't it?
I'd rather have a can of peanut clusters if you don't mind. Coming up next in sports. Oh, bad news. The Gopher football team may be without one of its big offensive guns against Iowa.
Bob Bruce has that story, plus our weekly episode of the KSTP Sports Reel. It's all coming up next.
When Lasso herbicide won Bud Riffelmeyer's yield test by over 4 bushels per acre, it made him think.
If somebody can pick up $4,000 or $5,000 extra dollars by using a certain product, I think it's just something that they can't afford not to be taking a very close look at.
Lasso has a yield advantage that's been proven in thousands of on-farm tests around the country. Lasso, less stress, more yield.
I know I'm going to continue to use Lasso.
The Dodge Boys want to show you another reason Dodge is the fastest growing American car and truck division. Announcing 8.6 financing or $500 cash back on Dodge Lancer. 8.6 financing can put you into a roomy, luxurious performance sedan for as little as $194 per month. Now's the time to get a money-saving deal, plus a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan on an '86 Dodge Lancer. See your Viking Land Dodge dealer today.
Wholesaling automotive parts just wasn't enough. This company wanted to go into the retail end of the business. They wanted a bank with financial horsepower to help them buy retail stores. And they got it, fast, because we knew their business. We opened doors with creative financing that met their needs. No matter what your business is, there's only one place where you can expect this kind of performance. The First Banks. We are the business banks, where your business belongs.
A holiday treat from Baker Square. Take home a holiday from Baker Square.
I think the Gophers can use all the help they can get. This is
big game, and this guy's a big play sort of individual, so it's tough for him to be out of the lineup. Big question mark for the Gopher football team as they get set for that Saturday road trip to Iowa. Flanker Gary Couch may not be in the starting lineup for that one. Now, Gary's nursing his sore right shoulder, and although he worked out with the team this afternoon, head coach Lou Holtz told us he is still questionable for Saturday. That could be bad news for the Gophers because a year ago, Gary scored the winning touchdown in the Gophers' 23-17 upset of the Hawkeyes at the Metrodome, and he's been a big play individual this year. Even if Couch is in the lineup, though, the Gophers have a huge task ahead of them on Saturday. And even though they already are going to a bowl, the Gophers still have an awful lot at stake against Iowa.
We really got something to prove, especially after last week's performance. We were really disappointed with that, and you know, we're not looking forward to anything after this. We're just looking for the Iowa game, and it's going to be a big game because they're really going to be up for us.
There's a birthday party of sorts going on at the University of Minnesota. 10 years ago, the U started a women's athletic department, and tonight they began celebrating a decade of existence with a big banquet at the Radisson University. Among the items on the agenda tonight, the induction of the first 4 members into the department's Hall of Fame. The group includes 4-time All-American cross-country champion Kathy Toomey, former U softball captain Gretchen Larson, national champion and current Gopher diving coach Chris Curry-Gens, and Dorothy Lestina Shepard, who established the first endowment fund for women athletic scholarships. Well, a day off for the North Stars, and they used it to do some roster shuffling. The Stars recalled goalie John Casey from Springfield, and he'll fill in for Roland Melanson, who pulled a groin muscle in last night's 3-3 tie in Calgary. Casey is expected to be in uniform tomorrow night when the Stars host St. Louis. Scores in professional hockey tonight. Winnipeg beat St. Louis 3-1. Chicago over Vancouver. Edmonton won in overtime over the Canadiens. Rangers over Toronto 7-3. And Washington beat Pittsburgh 3-1. Finally, in sports, another Wednesday night. Folks, you know what that means. Time again to see what's shaking on the old KSTP Sports Reel. Are you ready? All right, then. Just pull up your favorite easy chair. Sit back and relax for some more real entertainment. First of all, the hockey season's first shattering experience. 7 years of bad luck for that guy. Speaking of bad, watch this play by the North Stars. 5 seconds away from a win, but no! The Stars throw another one away. Some help is on the way, though, because this guy is now being considered as the Stars' #1 center. At least he puts it on net.
All right.
If that doesn't work, then the Stars are probably going to change over to the new modern type of hockey stick. You can get more of the puck on there. You wonder where Dennis Falcon gets his hats? Here he is, folks. Exclusive footage right there. Here's the latest candidate for Bob Vernon's Team Spirit Award, the refrigerator. Now, this is Team Spirit. He tries to pick up Walter Payton and carry him into the end zone. That's illegal, though. Here's our Sports World question of the week. How would you rate the Vikings' performance Sunday against the Lions? And now that they lost to the Lions, what do you think their chances are of going to the playoffs? Well, I have to agree, things didn't go any better for the Gophers against Michigan Saturday, but as you know, the scouts from the Independence Bowl were here, and they were last seen headed down the Mississippi to Louisiana talking about Minnesota. That's it, another great sports reel. It was exceptional this week, don't you think?
If he can make his wife believe that, he's one of the finest actors in the world.
I understand you do it just about every week, anyway. Going on
I like
here.
the guys in the boat.
Some lucky Minnesotans are down south performing in an important TV miniseries, Bob.
Well, actually, they're doing more reenacting than acting. They're part of the filming of North and South Part 2, and Kevin Berger has their story live via the New Star Network as we take 5 next.
Dr. Bill Byrne, family practice.
Dr. Bill Shanewetter, allergist.
Dr. Bill Merlin, urgent care.
Dr. Bill Gamble, general surgery.
Dr. Bill Rodman, family practice.
Dr. Bill Shemp, oncology.
With MedCenter's health plan, these are the only doctor bills you'll ever see. MedCenter's health plan.
Are there cranberries this year?
Of course.
And potatoes?
Yes. With gravy.
And will there be...
Naturally.
Nothing can ever replace a real fresh turkey from Genio. Fresh, natural Genio turkey, grown right here in Minnesota.
Save room for the pumpkin pill.
This is a football. To play it best in the Twin Cities, you've got to be a Viking.
This is a radio. To play the best stereo music in the Twin Cities, you got to be KS95.
Hey, we bring you cash call, $1,000 a day, traffic, weather, and your favorite songs.
And now we're adding exciting Vikings play-by-play and a chance for you to go to the Super Bowl.
KS95. With #1 stereo music and Vikings football, it's brighter than ever.
Put her there, TK.
Bumbo!
Down in Mississippi, hundreds of extras are taking part in the sprawling sequel to the miniseries North and South, now being filmed for airing on ABC and Channel 5 next spring.
Now, what makes the Civil War spectacular to you and me? Dozens of our Minnesota neighbors are taking part in all of this. Reporter Kevin Berger is standing by live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, live via our New Star Network to tell us about that. Kevin?
Cindy, don't you think I look like I should be wearing one of those big hoop skirts? You know, you don't have to go too far south of the Mason-Dixon line to see that the Old South still lives. And just west of here, inside the Mississippi state line, soldiers of the Old South are battling Union forces, but this time it's for television. All the states that sent soldiers to the Civil War more than a century ago have sent soldiers again, but this time they're reenactment groups. Among them are the Minnesota 1st Volunteer Infantry, about 40 of them.
These men are going off to war, the Civil War. They are Minnesotans who are getting the chance to reenact the battles their forefathers fought. And this is their battlefield, the production set of North and South in Natchez, Mississippi. The film has enlisted the services of thousands of Civil War buffs from around the country. The Minnesota group is considered one of the best.
A lot of the other units are scattered hither and yon and pulled together only at events like this, where we drill once a month or twice a month, and we're pretty proud of our reputation as being one of the best organized groups of reenactment troops in the country.
The reenactors get the chance to rub elbows with the stars of the film, like Hal Holbrook, who plays President Lincoln, Arlen Dean Snyder as General Sherman, and Anthony Zerbe, who plays Ulysses S. Grant.
Here we go, and we're rolling. Rolling. Speed. Background, move around, please. Action.
I want Phil to take and hold 5 Forks. That'll cut Lee's only railway to the south.
Well, I finish off Johnston and his men in North Carolina.
I believe we must give some thought to what happens then, Captain.
Okay, Captain. All right, very good.
The shooting here will wrap up in a few weeks. The reenactors will return home. And for most, like Minnesotan John Guffman, the experience here in Mississippi has involved more than just lights, camera, and action.
You get the authentic life, and I think everyone in our organization would have liked to come here and do it, whether or not they were filming a movie.
We've been down here for a few days, and next spring, when the mini-series is on, we'll have a special assignment series of our own to show you what goes into making a mini-series like North and South. Bob
Okay.
and Cindy?
We'll have to talk to you when you get back about that. Thanks,
See
Kevin.
you all later.
And this one note for you, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., Eyewitness News will be bringing you President Reagan's report to the nation to a special joint session of Congress in Washington, and it will be live via our News Star network. And we'll follow that with special coverage of reaction here and in Washington. We hope you'll tune in, and then please tune in to Eyewitness News tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the first word on the Reagan-Gorbachev news conferences in Geneva. Bob?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Good night.
Good night.